I'd like to welcome you to Fred's Faith Soundings. This will be volume 1 with any number of essays, this one being number 1. I have just begun this experiment with the title Fred's Faith Soundings. And so I thought I'd begin with an introduction to myself. But first, I suppose I should say, what you're seeing is the only thing you will be seeing, that is, words on a page. So I guess it's not exactly a video, but it is more of an audio essay with notes. I hope to address an audience of all kinds of people from all kinds of religious backgrounds and those with none at all. It's just something that I'd like to do. I'm mostly retired at this point, and I'd like to do at least 2 things. Make a series of video essays, this being the first, and write a book. But I've been thinking about this for the YouTube part for many months. It kind of reminds me of a childish wish. And that reminds me of a song by Mr. Rogers. I'll be talking about several Mr. Rogers songs tonight. This one comes from his song, Wishes Don't Make Things Come True. At first he says, scary, mad wishes don't make things come true, as he sings the song. But at the end he puts a little twist. No kind of wishes can make things come true. And I have to wonder if Fred Rogers, having been an ordained minister during his lifetime, he's now deceased, if he wasn't fully aware of some of the ramifications of his words. For instance, wishes. I'm pretty sure that could be changed to prayers. If our prayers are like wishes, are they childish? It takes me to this other song that he did called You've Got to Do It. You can wish or hope or contemplate a thing you'd like to do, but until you start to do it, you'll never see it through. You've got to do it, every little bit, he sings. And when you're through, you can know who did it, for you did it. You did it. You did it. Especially in a democracy like ours, we have to take responsibility for so much of the human experience because we create it. We create it by creating laws and government and the force to enforce those laws. And those laws come by way of ideas and the discussion of those ideas and the voting on programs and laws that make those ideas come true. There's so many things that we can pray for, but there's so many times when those prayers cannot be answered until we, and usually many of us, get together and see it through. Start to do it, to make it happen. Of course, we need strength to do that. That's pretty much what I pray for these days, strength. After we've done a thing, we might be proud of doing it. I hope that you are proud and that you're learning how important you are, how important each person you see can be. Discovering each one's specialty is the most important learning. You might say I've never quite discovered my own specialty and so have failed to do the most important learning. I have to say, that just might be true about me. And so I hope you can appreciate the strength of the motivation behind my making this crude and technologically unsophisticated YouTube recordings. There's a strong motivation behind my doing that. It's the motivation to fulfill my calling. I'm hoping that as I near the end of my life, I'll be able to fulfill what I think is God's calling to me. I'm hoping to discover what my specialty is. I want to write a book. I want to start a program of small group meetings, and based on the book, and I can tell you that's a dream. That's a far out dream. What's even more far out is I would like someday to see it become a movement. But I don't have any childish expectations. I think it would please me just to try something, just to do something, just to start something. And I'm hoping that in your life, no matter how old you are, if you feel you've been given a gift by God and you feel you have the strength to do something with it, hopefully you've nurtured it. I think I've nurtured some of my gifts by reading and writing a lot, and of course formal education. I was at one time a professional Christian minister, and I do have a seminary degree, and I feel that words and religion, especially the Christian religion, almost completely, and almost know nothing about other religions except the Christian religion, other than a couple books that I've read. So you'll see that in my writing and in my reading, in my speaking, that in fact I'm reaching out to a broad audience. I'm hoping just about everybody, no matter how religious or unreligious you feel you are, I want to talk to you. I'd like to hear your comments. I'm not pretending that I will answer your comments, but I certainly will read them all, consider them, and perhaps even incorporate some of them or some parts of them in future YouTube recordings, and certainly in my thinking and in my praying. So I hope that you can be a part of this project. It would mean a lot to me. You see there, you're growing, you're becoming. Another song of Fred Rogers, he sings, "I hope you can feel proud of the way you're growing." Now, these are words that he actually spoke after the song on the album. I hope you can feel proud of the way you're growing and proud of the person you're becoming. That can give you and the people who love you a very good feeling. You know, I want a very good feeling. I want a very good feeling about my life. I don't think any project can give you that. But we can be proud, and I would add grateful, for the way that we're growing and the person we are becoming. In fact, this book I want to write will talk mostly about the importance of growing and becoming. I believe that that really is the greatest thing we can do with our lives. We can't compare ourselves to other people because we all start at a different place. We start with different parents. We start with different genetics. We start in different countries. And we start that way. And then we also make some choices that further determine who we are and how we grow. I don't believe it's all a matter of choice, but we certainly are part of the process of growing and becoming. Being that I think this is so important, I thought I'd share one more line from Fred Rogers. It's not easy to keep trying, but it's one good way to grow. It's not easy to keep learning, but I know that this is so. When you've tried and learned, you're bigger than you were a day ago. This reminds me of the book entitled Everything I Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. You can look that up. I forget who wrote it. But some of Fred Rogers' songs help me to think about my life, even though they're written for children. And I suppose it's not easy for me to do this. I know I'm going to fall short of my hopes for my own performance. For instance, I'm trying to keep this to 10 minutes and we're already almost 12 minutes long. But I want to try. I know it's a good way to grow. It's not easy to learn. I've learned a lot more from my mistakes than anything else, but I know I'll make mistakes here in this project and in the book, but if I keep trying and learning as I go and trying to incorporate my learning, then I know I'm growing bigger. And that's really what I believe how God judges us. How did we grow the gifts that we were given? So you see, we can't compare ourselves to others, but we can compare ourselves to who we were. I hope that you're proud of the way you're growing. I hope you can get a good feeling from that. It hasn't been easy to look at my life, back on my life, and see all my failures and to still feel good about how I've grown. But if I can share anything with you in this project, it's that personal and spiritual and psychological growth is one effort that God really rewards. And the prayer that I think God loves to hear most is, help me grow more like you, Lord. Whatever your beliefs are, you're probably aiming to grow more like your hero or your sense of what an ideal man or woman or other gender identification could become. And I'm hoping that some of the things I say might help you to grow psychologically and spiritually. And I hope that throughout this series I will embellish my belief that we all are persons of faith. It's unavoidable part of being human. If we define the word religion broadly, we can say that every human being has a religion and lives by it, even the atheist. Now, that will be the topic of my next video essay. And it looks like I'm going to have to expand to 15 minutes, which is asking an awful lot of my listeners. But I thank you for being with me this evening, and I look forward to speaking to you again and hearing from you and any comments you might like to leave. God bless.